What started as one woman's courage to speak truth has exploded into the most explosive trial Hollywood has ever seen.
Combs' defense attorney Brian Steele grilling Mia and showing the jury more than a dozen effusive social media posts where she called Combs her mentor and said that she loved him.
We're not talking about your typical celebrity gossip here. This is courtroom drama that's tearing through the entertainment industry like wildfire, exposing secrets that powerful people spent decades keeping buried. The criminal case against Sean "Diddy" Combs was sparked after a startling 2023 civil lawsuit from his former girlfriend in which she alleged years of abuse and violence. But what began with Cassie Ventura's brave testimony has morphed into something nobody could have predicted. Names are dropping. Audio tapes are being played behind closed doors, and some of Hollywood's biggest stars are scrambling to distance themselves from the chaos.
He immediately, almost like slow motion, like I was sliding down the wall of some sort.
The trial isn't just about one man anymore. It's become a window into a hidden world where fame, power, and money created a system that allegedly protected predators while silencing victims. And the most terrifying part? We might only be seeing the tip of the iceberg.
Allegations from this witness have been harrowing. Right now, this jury is on a lunch break, so it gives us an opportunity to check in.
Inside that Manhattan courtroom, testimonies are painting a picture so disturbing that even seasoned reporters are struggling to process what they're hearing. Former employees are taking the stand with stories that sound like they're straight out of a nightmare. But these aren't fictional horror stories. They're sworn testimonies under oath with evidence to back them up. Sean "Diddy" Combs' federal sex trafficking trial continued on day 13, with Mia, a pseudonym, testifying about experiences so traumatic that the courtroom atmosphere shifts whenever she speaks. This isn't celebrity drama for entertainment. This is real trauma being exposed in pursuit of justice. The feds aren't playing games either. Federal prosecutors will begin trying to prove Monday that Sean "Diddy" Combs turned his hip-hop conglomerate into a racketeering enterprise that forced women to satisfy his desires for 2 decades. 20 years of alleged criminal activity, 2 decades of what prosecutors claim was a sophisticated operation designed to exploit and abuse. But here's where things get really intense. The testimonies aren't just about Diddy, they're exposing an entire network, and some of the names being whispered in connection to this case are making Hollywood's elite very, very nervous. The courtroom revelations have been nothing short of explosive. Former employee Capricorn Clark wanted to work for Sean "Diddy" Combs, who she has accused of abusing her, kidnapping her, and psychologically tormenting her for years. Her testimony painted a picture of systematic abuse that went far beyond what anyone initially imagined. Clark's story is particularly chilling because of how calculated everything appears to have been. She described being forced to take lie detector tests for 5 straight days, with threats that she'd be thrown into the East River if she failed. This wasn't random violence. This was organized intimidation with a clear purpose: control. The jewelry incident she testified about reveals the level of paranoia and violence in Diddy's inner circle. When expensive jewelry went missing after one of his famous white parties, Clark became the target of an investigation that involved being taken to a dilapidated building and subjected to psychological torture by a massive man who chain-smoked while hooking her up to lie detector equipment. But the most disturbing part of her testimony involved the alleged kidnapping attempt targeting Kid Cudi. According to Clark, she was forced at gunpoint into a car to drive to Cudi's house because Diddy was furious about Cudi dating Cassie. The plan, she claimed, was to kill Cudi. This wasn't just domestic violence anymore. This was alleged attempted murder over a romantic rivalry. The detail that really got people's attention was how Clark described Diddy's reaction when she expressed reluctance about participating in this plan. According to her testimony, he made it clear that refusing wasn't an option, and that Cassie's life depended on her compliance. This level of manipulation and control suggests a criminal enterprise that used fear as its primary tool. What makes Clark's testimony even more credible is how it aligns with other witnesses' accounts. Multiple people are describing the same patterns of behavior, the same methods of intimidation, and the same atmosphere of fear that allegedly surrounded Diddy's operations. Then there's the testimony from Dawn Richard. Her account of witnessing Diddy attack Cassie over something as simple as dinner not being ready on time shows how volatile and unpredictable the situation was for everyone in that circle. The detail about him grabbing a skillet and trying to hit Cassie over the head, then kicking her while she was in a fetal position, paints a picture of someone completely out of control. But what's really significant about Richard's testimony is what happened afterward. According to her account, Diddy told her and her bandmate the next day that it had been passionate and that Cassie was okay, but that it would be better if they didn't talk about it because people could end up missing. This suggests a pattern of violence followed by intimidation to ensure silence. The audio evidence being played in court is reportedly so disturbing that it's creating a different kind of atmosphere entirely. While the public hasn't heard these recordings, people who were in the courtroom when they were played describe reactions that suggest the content is beyond what most people could handle. Insiders describe audio that allegedly includes sounds of someone being hurt while Diddy can be heard laughing in the background. If these reports are accurate, we're talking about evidence of sadistic behavior that goes far beyond what was previously alleged. The fact that these recordings exist at all suggests that either Diddy was recording these incidents himself or someone else was recording them without his knowledge. But then something happened that nobody saw coming. Will Smith's name started getting mentioned in connection with this case, and suddenly the internet went absolutely wild. It wasn't just random speculation either. There were specific claims being made by people who said they had first-hand knowledge. The Will Smith situation exploded when his former assistant, Brother Bilal, came forward with allegations that shocked even people who thought they'd heard everything. Brother Bilal makes the claim that Smith once had sex with Dwayne Martin. But it wasn't just a casual accusation. Bilal provided specific details about allegedly walking in on them in a dressing room. What made this particularly explosive was the timing. These allegations surfaced right as the Diddy trial was dominating headlines, and people started connecting dots that may or may not have been there. The internet began digging up old footage of Will and Diddy together, analyzing their interactions, and suddenly every friendly moment between them started looking suspicious to conspiracy theorists. A spokesperson for Smith called claims that he was once caught having sex with fellow actor Dwayne Martin unequivocally false. But the damage was already done. In the age of social media, denials often just fuel more speculation, especially when people are already in a mindset of questioning everything they thought they knew about their favorite celebrities. The response from Will's camp was swift, but may have actually made things worse. Reps for Smith have called the accusations completely fabricated and unequivocally false, per TMZ. But instead of shutting down the rumors, this seemed to energize the people who were already suspicious. What really got people talking was how quickly and definitively the denial came. Brother Bilal had made claims about never being sued because he was telling the truth, and when the Smiths responded so quickly, it made some people wonder if they were more concerned about the story than they would be if it was completely baseless. The internet detective work that followed was intense. People started pulling up old interviews, analyzing body language, and creating conspiracy theories that connected everything from Will's marriage problems to his relationship with Diddy to his overall behavior in Hollywood. Whether any of this was based in reality became almost secondary to the fact that people were now questioning everything. Pinkett Smith's involvement in addressing these rumors also created additional speculation. Some people felt that her public responses were helping to fuel the fire rather than put it out, leading to even more theories about what was really going on behind the scenes in that marriage. But Will Smith wasn't the only big name getting dragged into this mess. Meek Mill's reaction to being mentioned in connection with the Diddy case was even more chaotic, and his response strategy seemed to backfire spectacularly. Unlike Will Smith, who mostly stayed quiet and let his representatives handle the situation, Meek Mill went into full meltdown mode on social media. His Twitter feed became a constant stream of defensive posts, but instead of clearing his name, it made him look more suspicious to people who were already questioning his relationship with Diddy. The problem with Meek's approach was that he seemed to be protesting too much. When someone is completely innocent of something, they usually don't need to spend hours on social media explaining why they're innocent. The fact that he was so obviously bothered by the rumors made people think there might be something to them.
Have a plan to try to derail the information, derail the chain of evidence, derail history as it actually happened. And he is the kind of guy that has no problem with re-victimizing people all over again. Let's just keep it a buck. These girls showed up at a very opportune time, did they not? Adria and Lamisha Fuller. Very opportune time. I do Pierce Morgan. The elites go insane. Ariel Mitchell Kidd drops Adria English as a client after she got drunk and talked with Tasha K, which was bad in itself if you ask me. I go on Pierce Morgan and say I have 3 witnesses that are ready to come forward against the Carters. I didn't say against Diddy, I said against the Carters. And then there was the fake C&D, which was nothing more than a phone call from the lawyer Alex Spiro, who tanked the Rock Nation offering so Dave Dash couldn't make any real money off of it. They're all afraid. When I look at Khadisha's content and I see her go and pull everything. When I see you go and pull all of those things that I leave on the breadcrumb trail, I need people to understand how valuable that is. Because see, I'm used to people just calling me a liar straight out the gate. But I always leave enough of the real information there for people to be able to go and seek it out for themselves. Because see, if you can go find it, and it's not about me. The truth is, a lot of you content creators are my...
Whether this case ultimately represents a turning point in how the entertainment industry handles abuse and exploitation remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. The secrets that were once protected by money, power, and fear are now being exposed in ways that would have been impossible just a few years ago. The world is watching, the internet is analyzing every detail, and the people who thought they were untouchable are learning that times have changed. The question now is whether the justice system will rise to meet this moment and deliver accountability that matches the scope of the alleged crimes. What we're witnessing isn't just the trial of one man. It's the unraveling of a system that allegedly enabled abuse for decades. And if the prosecutors are right about what they can prove, we're only seeing the beginning of what could be the most significant reckoning the entertainment industry has ever faced. The tapes are still out there, the witnesses are still talking, and the world is still watching to see whether justice will finally be served or whether money and power will once again find a way to escape accountability. One thing is certain, this story is far from over, and the final chapter could be more explosive than anything we've seen so far.